old video so you can title this one accurately?
If I don't, then what is life really waiting for? Okay, I
Oh,
messed that entire saying up. That was supposed to be super epic.
that's okay. That's okay. I thought it was quiet, epic enough. Like, oh, you're also using your old YouTube videos to keep track of where the fuck you are in your,
Yeah, like
in your catalog.
dude,
I know
I remember
exactly that life. I know
I have
exactly
like
that.
it's not even that I have weird OCD. If everything is not in a specific way, then
Mhm.
I get like so like I feel like I did something wrong. You
Oh,
know?
I was doing similar things with my podcast, with my like, because I was running like almost three podcasts at once.
Holy shit, dude.
And what I ended up doing is that because I had every folder for every single fucking
Mhm,
thing, and I had GIMP projects prepped and ready for me to go in
mhm.
and edit names, edit episode number, and then export, and then not even save the project at that time, so it'd keep the hashtags for the numbers or the your name here, like all that stuff was just kind of ready to go to stay optimal, but also like I'd have to go back to those images to like even keep track of, okay, what the fuck episode is this right now for which
Mhm,
show? Like, because one show got to like 10 plus episodes and another show was like
mhm.
right behind it. So I was like, yeah, I can't remember everything. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, so like mine, it was just like I had this one series on my main YouTube channel a long time ago. It was
Mm.
like it was weirdly called Reflections, just like Thorns was. It was
Yeah, yeah.
no coincidence. I just called it that. And then the quality of it was really bad because this is when I first started doing shows like that. So later on, I changed it to something different. Then after that, I changed it again. And then I realized that live streaming the episodes means that I would get more views on the episode numbers. So I ended up live streaming a few episodes and I ended up just canceling that. And that's when I ended up with, the two shows I have now, for the main YouTube channel, which is the Nightwing podcast and the Batman podcast, because I don't know. When it comes to things like that, I like to be extremely specific. That's just and that's just me. I like to have things a specific way because it makes it easier to remember where you're currently at and keeping track of, this channel's videos, my main YouTube channel's videos. It's not like it gets overwhelming at all. Nothing gets overwhelming. It only just depends on making sure I'm bringing in new content ideas, making sure I'm being consistently up to date, because me and my friend, like, we had this like 2 hour argument about League of Legends in his truck, like literally last Friday,
Mhm.
and I get some people's conversations when we generally have them, about League. It's like, I've been very open with people about this. I don't play ranked, and there's reasons why. It's
Oh,
super
it's
super toxic. Like,
are we live right now?
oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. I just want to make sure I was show ready and my jargon. No, like yeah.
Like there's no reason for me to lie. I don't feel like there's no reason for me to lie.
No,
And
like no. That's the funniest thing. Like I think I told you guys this last time I was on with your friend. I can't remember his name right now.
oh, Kofta.
With Kofta. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I didn't play the game for like a year or two or at some point just because like the saddest thing to me, and I always try to relay this back to my soccer experience because I did soccer
Mhm.
through high school. The saddest thing to me is that you go watch pro play and then you go play ranked and the games are nothing alike. No one is on the same page. Like no one's here to play a team
Mhm.
game. Like
Mhm.
no one's agreeing on anything or even attempting to agree on the wrong thing. Um, and Riot just refuses to help with the communication elements to it. Because I really think, and because I identified this when I would play Overwatch ranked, is that the moment I at least heard a human voice is the moment like all my toxicity like left the door. I was like, oh, there's the human element.
Mhm.
And they let me know like, hey, first time, or hey, off roll, or
Mhm.
hey, this, and I'm like, oh, okay. It's like, or hey, I'm bad. I'm like, yeah, what, relatable. And so like when Riot just refuses to add in real voice comms to the game, to a highly communication dependent game,
Mhm.
um, and we're just left with nothing but chat to like sit there and
The-
I didn't grow up
yeah.
on PC. So when you're trying to tell me to
No, you're
like
right. Yeah.
take my hand off the mouse and off my set, positions on the keyboard and type out a coherent message for a plan that's supposed to happen either in the next 5 seconds or 2 minutes,
Mhm.
and then you're supposed to pay attention to that chat, like no training for that, no pattern for that, no, because I had all my competitive buildup in real life sports where you're on a field and all you have is your eyes and your ears. and there's no reading anything. It's hollers, it's screams, it's pointing, it's reading the game in front of you, and so like when the game requires me to type out sentences, like, no, I'm sorry, I didn't come here to provide a thesis on how to dive this bitch.
Yeah, and then you're also debating with people who, like, in that moment, they don't even believe what you're saying is true. And it's like, what you're saying is true. It's like, how would I say this? It's like, if you mess up for someone with League, and then they already don't like you because either they claimed you griefed their lane, you messed up their game. If you're playing jungle, you definitely messed up for them, right?
Yeah.
So they're like, they already don't like you. So why would they take anything you have to say
into
consideration?
They're CSing badly because they're actually in their house building the cross to nail you on right now. Yeah. I mean, I remember hearing from either pro players or something like that, but I sort of had a similar mindset. If I was ADC and I ADC'd for a while, if my support didn't last hit their procs properly, like they didn't hit canyon or the cannon properly, like they didn't proc for that, I was like, okay, you're done. Like, you're dead to me. Like, if you don't understand
oh my God, dude,
to proc on your canyon or proc on only melees.
Last night, dude, I damn near thought this Morgana last night, I thought was going to give me a heart attack by how bad she was playing.
Oh,
and it was mind-baffling. It was just so mind-blowingly bad that I legitimately thought I was getting inted. You know, people say they get like inted and grieved, just for like it being a joke. No, this person would literally, I would trade aggressively in lane against a Lux and an Ashe. She just stands there. What are you doing? Just like, that's how I can tell you're inting. If you're standing there doing nothing and you're throwing ability as I'm about to die. Like, what is that gonna do? With this Ashe, literally we kill the jungler and the support, and this Ashe is like chasing us down. To be fair, we're already kind of low, but we could turn this ultimately if she lands her abilities. I was like, please, for the love of actual God, land a Q. She missed every Q known to man. Because weirdly, in team fights, guess what happened? She landed Qs perfectly fine. That's how I could tell I was getting inted. She landed Qs perfectly fine, and she could throw black shields properly.
So, okay, that reminds me of a tweet that Kelsey Moser put out this weekend where it's like, all you need to do for scouting is find people in solo queue that team fight well, and the rest you can teach. You can teach map rotations, you can teach wave management, all the other things that make up basic pro play can be taught. But if they can team fight well, that should be your starting point for defining what should be good talent to take up towards the pro scene. And that's where what I hear is a much more bronze version of that, where this Morgana knows how to fight, cares about fighting, but everything else about the game they don't care about, or they don't know what to do. Because there's a whole element of understanding trade patterns, power spikes just on levels. Like, it's you have to almost explain to someone, it's like, you realize that Ezreal is like one of the most powerful level 1 champions in the game because
my heavy's broken. Oh my God, we faced an Ezreal Seraphine bot lane. That shit is absolutely absurd. Like, holy moly. Yeah,
like, we're just talking about like level 1. Like level 1 ADCs, Ezreal wins every time. His Q's up way more often. It procs up for his attack speed bonus, and he can just keep throwing that thing at you. Like, MF doesn't really do anything after a Q. Like, she'll hit 2 of you, but Ezreal can just keep going with you. And that's just a level 1 example. But like a level 2 advantage, like, this is where if there's a Leona pick, if I get a support that picks Leona and they're not standing there in brush, like just ready with their E and their Q to like go in at level 2, then I know they don't have a killer instinct, and I'm not interested in soft play. I'm not interested in weak sauce. Like,
I just can't stand a person that is seeing you actually, if you're playing bot lane specifically, the support can see you trying to be aggressive and trying to take aggressive trades and be more advantageous, right? Person's just standing there looking at you. It's like, that stuff I don't like. It's like, hey, like, are you scared to trade? Do I got to type to you, hey, like, am I doing something wrong? Hey, let me know what I'm doing.
Oh my gosh.
For a person just to sit there, do nothing, and then you can tell you're getting into because they play team fights really well, though. She was like black shielding me. She was like landing Qs on priority targets. I'm like, what are you doing? She was like, why are you so mad? What do you mean, why am I so mad? You just ran it down. What?
All that Morgana wanted to do was AFK laning phase and get to the team fights. Like,
bro, the Yon we had said you guys are salty because my friend was playing Lillian top lane. He beat this Nasus so hard. It's one of those cheese things you do. Yeah, Lillian top.
Because he can never catch her. He can never catch her,
right? So we were trying to engage on this Ashe together as Zaya just, I flash ulted Eid. just pretty much to secure her. But I accidentally I knew anything wrong. I just hit the tank because Ash was ultimately moving back beside her tank. Pretty decently good Ash was playing against. You know, we talked afterwards. She was playing ranked consistently. She said she felt bad for me because Morgana was playing that bad. I was like, I'm sorry, dude. I wasn't trying to run it down any portion of the game because me and my friend were running to try and get Ash and Amumu. Yeah. She just stands there, throws no abilities. I'm like, that's reportable. You're throwing no abilities. They're all on cooldown. Really? They're all on cooldown conveniently twice. It happened twice. I was like, no more. You're getting reported. That's why I don't play ranked anymore. People ask me, why don't you play ranked? If you have stuff like that, and I'm supposed to be like okay with that, you know?
It's where there's so many. There's a billion philosophies on how to play the game, and so many of them are wrong. Like even ours could be wrong. You know, like based on just the exact setup of the situation.
That's why I love League, man, because like when you're talking to League of Legends to any given person, it's like the same thing. I don't know if you follow I don't know if you follow Superman or like DC heroes or Marvel heroes and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
The notion is they're the saying if you ask Superman to any given comic book fan, you're gonna get 100 different answers, and that's what League is. League is you ask one person how you play League, you're gonna get answers from so many different degrees. You know.
Yeah, you reminded me of a bot lane tragedy that is burned in my mind forever. It's so I was Caitlyn, okay. And I was into a Vayne Nami. Okay. Now, this next part is the word.
What happened? You cut off for half a second. What happened?
Okay, yeah, I see it. It cuts on my screen, so I can see that. Yeah. I had a Teemo support.
Okay.
So
I hate you so much.
We already know it's a real situation. And the Teemo would flame me while we were in laning phase and kind of losing to this other lane. And someone else was watching this game, and it's like, yeah, every time you go into fight, the Teemo cues the Nami. And I'm just like, you know, there's only so much auto attacking I can do here, especially if you're not going to cue the Vayne to let me win the freaking trade or at least kill it. Like, just,
dude. Oh my god, Teemo supports are the worst because like I genuinely like playing AD carry. Like I know a lot of people consider it brain dead. I genuinely like playing it. The issue here is my Teemo supports. Oh my god, they would sit in there and watch you trade, but they would try to do that. Why do Teemos always do that? Oh my god, it gets me so like aggravated. Why do they do this like random invisibility shit? Like, oh my god, dude, I'm so cool. I'm going invisible. No one cares. Help me fight these people. They would just try to sit there, do nothing, and go invisible and like KS you.
The saddest thing to understand about bot lane is that it's actually the support that wins the lane more than anything. And it's the ADC's job to follow up on the support's ideas, more or less, or at least the support's actions, and then just CS, you know? And most supports don't understand. It's like you're the one fighting for this lane more than me. My job is to get every bit of gold that I can. Your job is
most people don't understand is that support's lane is dictated. Like the bot lane is really, really dictated by the support, though. That's why when we talk about LCS teams, I'm not really focused on the ADC. It's really easy to spot out a good ADC.
Yeah.
Like people could obviously know Sven was just a monster earlier on when the splits were started. Like you could clearly see that, but it's all based in the support. When Smoothie was Sven's support, he looked pretty bad, and now he has Vulcan and he looks really good. And when Sven had Mithy, he looked fantastic. So it's one of those things where people got to understand if you're playing support. I used to main support. I know exactly what an ADC wants. You know, it's just more like bot lane is like a relationship. You got to be in sync with the person you're with, otherwise it's not going to work out. Also, oh yeah, Rob, yeah, sure, man. I sent you the link. You can join. Kofta, he might be sleeping, actually. We started a little bit later past the usual time. He said 9:30 for him, which is also 6:30 for me. So he might be sleeping. Also, T-Root. No, man, you didn't miss anything. We literally just started.
He's dead. Kofta's dead. I took over.
Yeah. He took over his body. Like, what's that thing Darkseid does? He takes your mind over and shit. He Darkseid him. So you're secretly Kofta in disguise.
Yeah. I removed the hummus and added more hot dogs to my diet.
And like when you're playing, and even when you're playing bot lane, you can tell when someone doesn't either like you or they're not attempting to help you. Like it might be internet connection. But my problem with giving excuses, dude, is that when you start giving an excuse out, you got to give it to everyone else then at that point. Because then you're not being fair, you know?
I don't know. I think being fair is overrated.
I like that.
I'm
Same
sorry.
thing. Yeah.
Life's not fair.
Life's
And
not even fair. Like literally, dude, Europe has been getting stimulus checks ever since COVID started big, all the way back in March. And when Americans found out, you know how mad they were on Twitter? Whew, I was mad too. I was like, why are they all getting stimulus checks? And we had one at that current moment in time. We had one, obviously, but now we've gotten like three. It's like it's okay, but it's one of those things where it's like life's not fair, you know.
I don't want to go down the COVID rabbit hole because especially because of how at least our country's political and cultural climate is. It's very
Where you at
impossible.
actually?
I'm in Utah right now.
You're in Utah.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. Whew,
Yeah, I'm from Florida, so
okay, you're from Florida, Utah. What? So not to really dive too much into that. Sorry.
I'm in Salt Lake, and I was from Orlando.
Salt Lake City. Okay,
Yeah.
so did that whole situation ever get better when people were trying to take over the town, like in the fucking purge?
In Salt Lake, or in
it was in some place in Utah. Like earlier on, people were literally trying to take over the city.
No.
Like,
We got into Utah early December. Like,
okay.
I know nothing about anything ridiculous, and most of it's just ridiculous idiocy. Like it's I wish I had a master quote for this, but it's like some great ideas get turned into belligerent idiocy.
But more or less so, like, see, dude, I main top lane. I love playing top lane. People calling, I love it. I love it.
I did my most recent ones on it. I was Cho'Gath into Aatrox, and it was the first time I ever played against new Aatrox. And I know new Aatrox is like 2 years old or something like that. Like Bwippo was the first monster at it, but I'm just like, I can't even trade against this guy. Like my E was maxed, and I would just like hit him with all 3 E's, and it wouldn't even touch him. I dodged like 2 of the 3. Like I wouldn't be able to miss the 3rd one, and then he'd hit me with the root thing, and I wouldn't be able to walk out of it. And I'm just like, I'm getting chunked down hard here. And what I hated actually is what I hated about this jungler, because it was just a complete clear bronze IQ awareness. The Aatrox was clearly smart enough. He froze his wave on his side before his tower. Hard freeze. Like there was a 20 CS difference, and I'm just like, I can't walk up on this.
Dude, people have to learn also how to trade. When you have, it's the problem. People always keep saying, why did I die level 1? You should not be fighting in minions level 1. Because minions hurt. I heard minions do a lot of damage early on. That's why you're probably dying level 1 consistently. People are like trading within the wave. No. What are you doing?
No. Well, I was yelling at the jungler. It's like, I need you to unfreeze this wave. This wave needs to get crashed into his tower, because he's not pushing it. He has frozen it there, and if I walk up, this Pantheon's going to come and dunk me, or this Aatrox is going to have the full lane to take his 300 gold advantage and shove it down my throat. Like, so it's just not recognizing wave states and what needs to be done to enable your laners, your solo laners especially, to not get ruined because someone has figured out how to. Because especially with Aatrox, you can just lifesteal your way away. He could freeze that wave, and then I have to like force out a whole bunch of spells and come back in and hope I don't get ganked. Or I need my jungler to come up and just help me crash the wave into the tower so it resets back to normal. And no understanding of even attempting what that is. Like he came up, we got the kill, and then nothing happened. I was like, great. It's gonna be exactly where it is. It's gonna teleport right back.
It's one of those things you just gotta realize I'm taking over the game by myself, because
I was Cho'Gath, like I was trying to start to eat, but unfortunately I was feeding someone else. So
doing your best like Red Cross impression for the homeless. The other thing I wanted to bring up before we talk about LCS is people when they look at League of Legends content creators. So I think someone asked me or earlier I had this conversation with someone on Twitter. They said, hey, why are my views declining for certain League of Legends aspects? So I can only provide information on the things that I do. League of Legends is generally big for views in any off season, because everyone is curious about where a player is going, where a player is going to end up being on. So you want to make sure you're capitalizing that, at any given moment in time. But when it's coming to like the regular LCS season, it's just like, who else do you watch? Because most people already have what they're going to watch. Dom, their actual broadcasts, casters people like.
You're already getting to it. It's not a matter of there's so much to watch that something's got to take a hit. And if you're not someone's go-to for LCS, LEC, LCK discussion, there you go. Like you're just not in it, because people are going to Summoning Insights, to Euphoria, to the Dive, to Face Check, to the Crackdown, to Thorn's rotations. Like there's so many S tier products out there for people to watch, that you almost have to be understanding as a creator what your baseline, what your true committed audience is that are there for you, and they're not there for the general discussions and what everyone else is going to say, you know?
Because that's what I told people, you know, and that's what I also mean it towards my main channel, because my main channel is pretty successful in terms of YouTube views, analytics, everything. But that's not something that I got just yesterday. You know, people see like this channel and go, this is just kind of his second baby. Yes, this is my second baby. It's like when you have kids, you didn't really want a second kid, but it happens. That's what this channel really is, though. I didn't really want this League channel. I really didn't. Me and my friend, you know how Azael, Kobe, and Jad talked about when they started the Dive, they were just talking about League off camera anyway, and they thought to themselves, why not just do it for, you know, podcasts and like that. That's what me and my friend did, and I told people, you know, we had such big stylistic differences on how the channel should be ran. He just ended up giving it to me, and I was like, okay, now I have a second channel I didn't really want, but I love League of Legends, so let me try to figure out how to make League content. And my God, in my first year doing it, it was so bad, dude. It was like, I knew what I was saying. It was hard to convey the points, because it's easy to convey a point differently. Because like I was accustomed to watching Euphoria's Hotline League, Dive, Summoning Insights, Dom's show, Face Check. Now he has Crackdown as well. But it was easy to watch them form League opinions while not exactly doing it myself to an audience. I could form my opinions to my friend, and my other friends who like League, LCS, like all I want, easy, right? Because I know them. But doing it online where I'm going to get criticized for my opinion was different, though. It's an entirely different ball game. And then after that, I had to learn that people like specific type of videos for League. Thumbnails, titles were all different. I was coming from a completely different background in YouTube more than this. So this is all new to me. And I think I'm pretty successful at doing this so far. I like to have my own thing. I like to have my own type of, I don't know, way of looking at things. And it's not about being right. I could care less if people think I'm right. I just want you to hear my opinion on certain things. You know, because every time I watch those shows, outside of, you know, this is why I also respect Oren to a certain extent. He's generally honest with his opinions. Him and Monte Cristo, like, I'm being honest. They're honest. Other people go on these shows, they're acting like PC. They're acting all scared. It's like
very corporate.
Why? I don't understand it, though. And us fans know they're acting that way. If I can tell you're acting this way, you might as well just say specific things, because we already know it.
Well, this is where we Mark and Scara. Okay, I don't know how to interpret that anime. Sorry, buddy. This is where like Thorin and Dom are like two very popular figures on account of there's nothing about them that is very corporate. Meanwhile, I think we all could agree that we don't go to Hotline League for Mark. Mark is somewhere that I wish I was in his career and everything. Like, he's done things that I wish I could do in terms of coaching a team. I think I would be more apt to that than he is by just personality types. And then he's on broadcast and he's still there. But I think that's because he's one of the safest personalities in the scene. And he keeps it that way. He keeps it pretty buttoned up, adorable at some point with like his hair or his cat. But Mark is not a controversial opinion. The most controversial discussion he ever had was going to battle with LS on the stats for
Merlinomicon.
Yeah, but that's not a principle based thing. Like Dom would almost insinuate, but Thorn would articulate. You know what I'm saying? Like Dom would be like the gut reaction of like something's messed up about this, and Thorn would be like, here's the articulated like principles that dictate like a good idea or a good set of actions. And so that's where like they don't end up on Riot, because Riot's not interested in that stuff, or, you know, that's its own, you can expound on that. So when we go, like, I think the reason Travis Gafford's one of the most beloved personalities is because he plays the corporate game very openly, very honestly, but he's a lovable guy. It's clear he works hard. He's incredibly transparent what he does, and he puts out stuff that no one else is putting out. Like the amount of wins versus how much money that was put out by teams, like postseason, It's that like not making salaries, but that video, like Travis works his ass off. It's very apparent. He's got his own personality about it, and he appeals to the lowest common denominator for entertainment and for journalism, as you can call it. He's an interviewer, and he's got his entertainment elements for just who he is and Hotline League.
And that's what had happened, man. I came from my main channel to bringing something of element because there was something in that specific scene that I was from.
Channel?
On my main channel, I did Yu-Gi-Oh content, but then I realized one thing. So most people had an idea of what you already wanted out of it. So I thought to myself, people like this specific thing, but I need to change something up because what people do in YouTube, this is just last point, then we're going to talk about LCS and LEC.
Yeah.
People go, Devin Nash. I don't know if you guys subscribe to that guy. He's really good at talking about branding and all these other things. But what he did say that I really, really agree with is if you are not providing anything different worth of value, no one's going to really like subscribe. Why? Because people are, let's be honest with you, people are kind of stupid and they kind of only follow a few amount of people. They see a channel with like 100,000 subscribers. They subscribe to that channel. They don't look at channels like this. And I like the audience we have here. I love all the people that have supported the channel throughout the 2 years. 3 years it's been relatively running. Well, sorry, 2.5. And it's just how it is. I have to bring something different of value. That's why I bring my own shows. That's why I bring my own different type of videos generally when I can. You have to bring something different of value. And for Yu-Gi-Oh, there's these things called market watches. So people like to be kind of told what to spend their money on. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, I don't like watching 10-minute Yu-Gi-Oh market watches. I don't buy cards when people say, hey, do this in 10 minutes. What could you possibly tell me in 10 minutes to buy this card? That's like $20 and potentially telling me you're going to be able to flip it, right? So I thought to myself, it's going to be harder, but I'm going to make them like 20 minutes. Then I started making them 30 minutes. And people were like, wait a minute, I like these way better than the normal ones I'm getting. They started getting more views and more traction. And later on, the channel started blowing up a lot more. And that's when all the grinding put into work. I took a clear-cut established thing and I made it my own. And now I have an audience for it. And then I was like, okay, this year I wanted to bring more pop culture content in. So I started doing like, podcasts more and superhero news and things like that. People who are new to the platform or even on Twitch, you got to bring something different though, because why would I watch generic girl number 3 when I could just watch Pokemon and Valkyrie? Why? Like, it's no offense to these newer women that are doing this, but why would I watch you though? You're not being different. You're not being unique. That's just how it is, Yeah.
Well, that's where so let's just like be honest as like straight males here, but like we will scroll through Instagram or whatever social media you want to pick and just be identifying, hot girl, attractive, things like that. There's Warren.
Hey, how are you? I mean, maybe in my 20s, but now, dude, I just look at a girl and I'm like, man, whatever.
Let me finish it.
You're right.
Let me finish this. Thought, because like I hear your personality. I think I'm gonna like it. But like for me at least, I'll roll through and be like hot, whatever. But there are very few like cosplayers, or you could even say streamers. There's very few girls on the internet that are influencers or whatever that I'm just like, no, I'm actually interested in like this person that just so happens to be hot. Like it's like there's some intrigue about them. For at least someone who like cares about psychology, it's like, okay, what makes this person tick or something like that, or what about them is of actual interest beyond just anime titties and I'm so no. It's like you get to a certain point, it's like I've seen enough. I need something that's gonna make me actually appreciate you as a person or something like that. Like I've been like aware of Meg Turney for like over a decade now. And I'm just interested to see how her career has been going, what she's focusing on, what she's had to move away with cosplay, or like her career decisions that she's had, her relationship with Gavin and Rooster Teeth. Like that's more interesting than just, hot outfit. Like, sorry, like guys are shallow for about like 5 seconds. And it's like, okay, I need more substance here, please. Like you just got to get past that first 5 seconds.
Also,
Warren, what you got?
Also, Warren's a TSM fan, so he's been waiting to come on these shows to wreck people who are doubting him. He's like the freaking fans were doubting me. Warren is now a prophet.
let me get this out, and then Warren, I'll give it to you. It's like, how's it feel to be out of Valorant? How's it feel to see Wardell and his boys out of VCT? You bitch. Now go ahead.
I only watch TSM for league, and I tell it's funny. I tell people on the fan cast I'm a realistic TSM fan.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I'm not
Yeah.
delusion. I'm not. I'm like, for instance, when they had 2 years that it didn't make Worlds, I was like, they just stunk. They're like, I'm not gonna be delusional and whatever.
Yeah.
But to go on your point, it's like I know what you mean, because I was reading an article. I think it was 2019 or 2020, but basically, this female, she was like 28, probably like very beautiful, a model or something like that, and she's trying to get she literally wrote to like a rich person, like a guy that like a 50-year-old CEO, and was like, I've been trying to get, someone to like sugar daddy me up, but I can't. Why is that? And this guy literally broke it down for her. Is like, well, the thing is, you got to have some sort of value. Like, okay, yeah, I get a 20-year-old, 28-year-old, I can, clap her a bit, but you are not, if you're not smart, you don't have your own business, you're just a pretty face. And he was like, basically, of course, he articulated it much better and didn't like insult her. I'm just doing the abridged version.
Yeah.
But, he basically said, like, you need to have some sort of value, because after that, like, let's be honest. And this is
either you can provide me for a long time, or you're just a weekend bitch. Like,
right. Like, let's be, and this is no offense to any females or women or however pronoun you want me to use.
yeah.
After 30, it's just going downhill for women. I'm being so.
No, that's a biology element, because like after 30, everything starts hitting, and like the body is not able to like actually do the full reproduction cycle. So after 30, mostly like really after like 35, I think would be the hardest number for women for if they want to have children,
Right.
but their body just can't do it. So like, because you don't hear about a lot of 40-year-olds having healthy kids. Like,
yes, it's very rare.
yeah. So like, and the thing is that, and this is going to be the very crude version of saying it, women become, quote unquote, and I'm trying to say this very technically, they become fat and ugly because it is a biological visual signifier of they are not healthy for reproduction. So like, it's just a part of reality in life. And I think what needs to really happen is like an understanding and acceptance of that, for like what you're looking for the rest of your life out of both yourself as a woman, and for those that are attracted to women. It's like, you need to understand, like, hey, this is going to happen. Like, if they're going to get pregnant, their body is going to get fucked up.
Right. And
like it, and it's going to look away.
And
so
and
like,
the thing is, they need to do stuff. Like, I think both parties, like the husband needs to like encourage the wife or the girlfriend or whatever, because some people don't believe in marriage. But like, I saw one lady that was in the gym, and she was like at least looking 8-10 months, and she was on the treadmill, just on the treadmill, pregnant, like still work like just on the treadmill. She wasn't doing any weight. So like,
I was on horseback 2 weeks before I was born, homie. Like, my mom did not mess around. Like,
yeah, as long as you keep realize that, and same thing goes for males. Like, when you start, like after 30, your belly starts, you used to push it out for fun, then you realize it's a keg, and you start looking like Homer. So you're right. People need to take care of themselves nowadays. So, but in regards to the Twitch thing, like, yeah, maybe when I was like early, I'd say 21, 22, when I didn't have a social life and no swag. Yeah, I would watch them, like, yeah, I can relate to that girl. It's cool because she plays video games. But then I realized she probably doesn't know how to talk to people. This is her only platform, and she's just some regular
basic
woman.
She's a basic. She's not even a mean girl. She's just basic. It's like,
yeah,
looking like acting like skim milk. Just.
You ever notice, like, when you say, I remember I told someone, I was like, man, you're just ordinary. Excuse me, what do you? How could you say that to me?
I don't mean to clap, but like, my example is like, I was like, at least an Instagram fan of like Amaranth for a while. And then I just like kind of put together what I'd seen for like a year. I was like, there's nothing here. Like, it's just some hot girl playing video games and doing low level photography for her look. Like,
and ASMR, which is not that great. And I've seen
I don't care about ASMR. So like, there's a product line that just gets ignored by your homie. So like,
yeah.
Okay, bye. Like, I ain't worried about it.
I don't know. There's not. and I like all types of women. The whole pale thing, like there's only certain women that can pull off a pale, good model look. And
Some pale looks amazing, and
amazing, but
some
some
pale needs more Flintstone vitamins in their
yeah,
life or something.
it's like there's no middle ground. You know what I mean? It's like it's either you're getting Daenerys Targaryen or you're getting
Smeagol.
Smeagol. Like,
All right, let's run it back. Let's bring it back to. We want to get onto LCS now, right? Right, Night.
There's LCS. Oh my god, people actually like League of Legends. I'll just fuck around with you guys. All right, so to end off the LCS 2021 spring split, let's bring up the standings because my boys Cloud9 sitting here at first place as
who lost to CLG this weekend.
I love how
CLG is gonna clap. Either CLG is gonna clap in summer, or the team is gonna lose its LCS spot. It's one way or the other.
If you guys didn't know what the standings are like because you've been busy with work, Golden Guardian sitting at 3-15 at 10th place, CLG 5-13 at 9th place, FlyQuest 6-12 8th place, Immortals 7-11 at 7th place, Evil Geniuses sitting here at 10-8, locked into 6th place. Digitas sitting at 11-7 at 5th place, 100 Thieves sitting at 4th place at 11-7, Team Liquid sitting at 3rd place, 12-6, TSM defying expectations, 2nd place at 12-6, and Cloud9 sitting at the top of the standings at 13-5. Cloud9 securing 1st place, but I have to ask you guys this: is Cloud9 the best team in the LCS? Because some of these early games were looking mighty suspect.
Well, again, we talked about this earlier in the wrapper for the week, man. I feel like Perks turns on in a best of series. And this is why I thoroughly freaking hate best of ones. Like, I really do. Like, cause look at what happened in the lock-in. Like, the lock-in was a glorified scrim, right? But Cloud9 clawed their way and played almost did a TSM run in the lock-in, basically, considering the amount of games. And I'm sure that
guides them.
Right. So, like, to me, do I think they're the best team? No. I think Team Liquid edges them out just by like, if you switched out Santorin for someone else, I would say Team Liquid is miles ahead. But it's an edge. It's like a little edge. I think Team Liquid I have more faith in Team Liquid than I do have in C9 right now. Just right now.
For me, when it comes to like Cloud9, I think a lot of people just, I don't know, like have you ever met somebody who's so in love with something they just can't see flaws in it at all?
TSM, what?
Wait, what?
TSM fans, what? Reddit TSM fans?
It's just one of those things where like you could clearly see Cloud9 play badly, and then Cloud9 fans on Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, anywhere are just going to be like, oh, well, development process. So what? You got to judge for people what they are right now. Yeah, you can develop and have something that's an end goal. And that's personally fine, right? But if they're playing badly right now, I have to judge that right now. Some of these early games were looking really, really suspect. Like, I just call it like I see it. I love Cloud9, but hey, sometimes you got to be like, hey, some of these early games were looking really bad. Some of these early games where they were definitely prioritizing certain things were not the right optimal move. There was the game, classic example, the game against 100 Thieves, the first time around. Remember when they were winning the game and they were throwing it at dragons, and then later on 100 Thieves were like, man, fuck it, I'm gonna just go jump off a cliff too, because they remember this. FBI was constantly getting triple kills. Someday was outplaying Fudge. I mean, shocker, right? Because people can outplay Fudge. He's just consistently running it down constantly. 100 Thieves were clawing their way back, and then later on, it was a move between, I think, two of the C9 players to bring it back where they were winning. Also, C9 had a really close game against CLG the first time around they played. That was a really close game. Wild Turtle even ended up getting a pentakill. They even lost this game. They had a really close game against TSM the second time they played around, just like last week or so, where Blabber was ahead and then he just completely threw it. So there's certain issues that they have that a lot of people just refuse to acknowledge. And I don't really know how to really talk to these people, because it's like, all right, if you have C9's cock that far down your throat, nothing I'm saying is going to really, change it, But I just want to just get your guys' general opinions on Cloud9, because I feel like they are a top 3 team. Are they head and shoulders away the best team? I guess it depends on who you talk to.
So I think the eye test that we're all kind of putting out is agreeable that TL is cleaner, especially with Cloud9's recent early game issues that we've already highlighted. I'm going to actually, what I'm going to throw in is I think what Perks is actually leading this team to do is what Grabs is leading G2 to do. I think, and I wish I had a prop with me, I think C9 is currently sandbagging into the playoffs.
I haven't heard that term in ages, man.
Are they sandbagging? Like,
based on Perks, at least Perks in that Victor game where they were like, what was it? It was against it was TSM. No, it was the C9 TSM game from like 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah,
where it was the fight at red and Blabber ends up 3 levels over Spica, and like Cloud9 just goes on autopilot. And like the moment I realized that Perks was not focused was when he got caught top lane on Victor, and it's like, you shouldn't have been there. You had no reason to be there. Like, you just lost all sense of map awareness, and here you are getting bunked, and TSM get to run this back because Cloud9 just didn't care. Like, they're there, they got it. I just, if Cloud9 is aiming to do with Perks what G2 was doing, like if that's sort of like the goal and mindset that you have, then you cannot burn yourself out this early in the season. And Team Liquid's already talked about, and that's what had Team Liquid on the first half of the spring split looking so dogged. And, Tactical saying he's getting burnt out already. And he's, in his sophomore year right now. So like he doesn't have that veteran, like, leather skin to him to like really run a full year of success.
You could see it in his gameplay too. Remember those Tristana games where he was just randomly getting caught out?
Against TSM.
He was just straight up, man. I thought this was a competitive win trade. He straight up walked into a bush with no vision and got Galio destroyed.
Yeah. You're seeing an elongated version of fatigue. It's not fatigue that's like hospitalization or you should just go get 8 hours. It's a different kind of mental fatigue where you have been doing this day in and day out for months, and it's just. And that's where Core JJ is still like one of the top performing players on that team. Hold on. There we go. And he's done the full Worlds run, the busiest year of any professional League of Legends player can do. He knows, like, he's still in his warm-up jog for Core JJ or even Jensen, and Jensen's just on a back seat for this team. He's not a carry. It's Alfari or Tactical or Core JJ or even Santorin when it was carry junglers. So I think C9 is taking a mental sandbag game. And it's going to be a big question of it if they've done enough sort of chilling and resting, waiting for the playoff patch to come, and now they're going to buckle down and they're going to slap cheeks, because that's going to be the big test. Like all the eye tests are completely valid, but that's going to be what I'm actually looking for and expecting if Perks is running this team like I think he is.
Because like Blabber has been really good for Cloud9, but then I think it's super disingenuous to disregard a player like Dardoch as well, who's had maybe a bigger impact on his team than Blabber has had on his team. There's a reason why I'm considering Dardoch to be in my MVP category, because he's had a really standout split. Him and Alfred have been playing really great, honestly.
I'm about that for a lot of Dig in a way, because what's so funny is that I think after last year we kind of want to like excuse Blabber from any MVP conversations, because it's not even a question of if he's worth it. It's like we need to highlight someone else who's actually been a standout. Because like I was predicting on my channel, I was like, I think Dardoch might actually make TSM godlike last year, and then like the TSM org and Reggie just destroy Dardoch. And now Dardoch's getting like the ultimate anime like revenge arc. He's still the bad guy, but he's gonna just look good while doing it, And
it's crazy. No one remembers this. TSM had the second best early game that split when Cloud9 were dominating, simply because Dardoch was hard dragging them through the early game. I mean, imagine that. They had the second best early game stats when Cloud9 is just by far and away the best team in the league. That's insane.
To be fair, I don't think they utilized, because I remember that team. I don't think they utilized Kabe really well.
That's true.
No. I believe Dom on this, and I also believe it listening to more European viewpoints on it. Like Peter Dunn, I think even talked about this on the recent crackdown. Kabe was just left out in the dirt. Like
Dude.
the amount of playing around the ADC, like the words I just said are not words that are said inside the TSM house last year. Because
But that's what I mean, though. Like they didn't play around them, so like
no.
You're
This is where
100% right.
this is where I would almost actually contend that Coach Bjergsen might actually be more impressive than the last 5 years of Bjergsen the player, even in his infancy and his novice level as a coach. Because when you hear LS and Dom, like people that watch these games and play this game way more than I can, when they're having high opinions of it and TSM is clapping cheeks, you have to kind of sit there and go like, well, what is making Lost an unknown ADC that's been of no real repute until recently? Huni, who has been washed up by some and a known quantity for a while. Power of Evil, who is the best thing that they have on them. Sword who has been popping off when he's gotten his engaged supports, but by some opinions is not worth his import cost. And then Spica, who is kind of the name brand. He's the only carryover player. He's the only TSM.
All those players, but
I'll throw it to you after this. Yeah. So so I'm kind of looking at this going like, who got this team to get on the same page?
Because it's weird. Is
Bjergsen really running this?
You're right. Because
war in Europe, right?
Because the issue here is that TSM objectively they did not really bring in, a good roster. This split for TSM standards, right? But just for TSM standards alone, the roster looks kind of suspect. But
I think it looks suspect because of Huni. But if you had someone else, we wouldn't be like if it was Impact there, we would have been like, okay, clear cut. This team is going. This team is fine, right? But I mean, I think what TSM haven't done in a long time is that Parth isn't. Their coaching staff is different. I think they got the guy from, I believe, that was on Origin. They got Curry that was on FlyQuest. So that really helps out Bjergsen because FlyQuest was up and coming, and Curry was. You gotta say, he did pretty well. I mean, he had Solo in the top lane, who's that he brought to kind of worlds, with him, and Wild Turtle and Ignore. Well, I don't think Ignore. I just really think Solo was the Inter of that world, but that's neither here nor there. I think what it is that we're seeing an emphasis of team synergy. This is not a super team. This is all people like working together. Like we've seen super teams fail. Look at the Misfits of 2018. That just went to garbage with what was it? SOAS, Gorilla, Alfari, and then it was Maxler, and that was team was projected to win, and they just did terrible. I think people are realizing when you put a team together, it has to be synergistic. You have to know what you're getting. And about the Sword Art thing, look where Suning is right now. They're 7. They're 7-6, I believe. They're trying to get the A spot. Sword Art has a ton of experience. Look how many times he's been to Worlds. And this whole notion about he's washed up. I hear sometimes I like Dom and Clement Chu and Ellis, but then sometimes I'm like, yo, shut up. Sometimes Clement's oh, Sora's not mechanically good. I could say the same thing for Mithy but Mithy played pretty good, and he look at the accomplishments he had. He played to a while, so it's why is it if you're 23, you're considered fossilized? He still has plenty of his career to go, and I think and people were I also mentioned that the best thing TSM did was Doublelift and Bjergsen leaving, because now it's not like the Bjergsen and the Doublelift team. Now TSM can start fresh. Does it suck to lose, two iconic players? Of course, I do miss Bjergsen, but do we need to move on? Yeah, because now it's not. Now we can't. Now it's finally. It's Bjergsen's controlling the team. Oh, it's the TSM jungler thing. Oh, it's that meme is gone now because Bjergsen's not there. So it actually was
he's controlling Spica like a puppet in the background, like this.
Well, now he has to have a more holistic view of the game instead of just a mid lane focus.
T-Root, he says, was Huni the preseason question mark or was it Lost? I think it was both because
it was Huni hands down.
Huni Lost was a question mark, but Huni was what's that saying? The straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, okay, this is a questionable roster for at least TSM standards.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
don't think
good.
so.
I like that they took players
Well-
that people thought weren't going to be good and it made them good. I like that. That's a good thing to do.
Well, yeah. Like, yes. I want to actually circle or just at least nail what Warren said about Sword Art, because the value of Sword, because if we're gonna do an eye test of at least what Sword Art's providing for the team, he's not the core JJ equivalent, and that's where the analysis would come in for, is he providing import level value? So the only other thing that we can actually sort of try to extrapolate from our know nothing points of view, especially watching how Suning's fallen with this very similar roster and now Sword Art's gone, is that the everything behind the scenes that we will never see and never know between Bjergsen, Huni, and Sword Art discussing and making the team head in a concise direction may very well be where the value is actually there, and that's why they look so clean for like a whole weekend, like for a while. Like they've just looked really clean and have been winning far more than I expected them to. Like I was actually starting to compare like where the final standings were, and like Diggs obviously the big factor that like threw everything off. But my preseason prediction was like from top to bottom was like C9, TL, EG, 100, TSM, Fly, IMM, Immortals, CLG, GG, DIG. And you just throw DIG way up there, CLG, GG at the bottom. Like everything else is still there. TSM is, what is TSM's ranking now?
Second.
They're second. I had them at like
after this past weekend.
fifth. I had them at
fifth.
I had them at fourth. I had them at fifth, but they could get fourth.
Yeah. I had
fifth.
Because I even said when I had my power rankings, I'm putting them at fifth because of like objectively looking at that roster, no one could, like, people would be straight up capping to you. Most people thought that roster was gonna not be that good. They literally only had 2 good players. Like
all I saw happening was that Power Evo was going to do another clutch CLG thing. It's like, I'm going to drag this team to playoffs. Like, just give me a control mage meta. I will drag this team, but in a much nicer German way of saying it.
And Sword Art, I thought Sword Art was going to be fantastic. Everyone's saying, "Oh my god, they overpaid for Sword Art." Okay, guys, like I get it. He made a few bad mistakes in the Suning Dam 1 finals, but dude, that's Dam 1. I mean, what do you want him to do? Beryl is really good. What do you want from him?
Sometimes you have to int to win. Like,
I've even told people this, dude. Like, you can have a really good player, but sometimes there's just a gap. There's just a gap. Like Caps is really good for Western standards, right? But you can clearly see.
Don't ever mention that Craps to me.
Craps, dude. But people could realize that Rookie's better than Caps. He just
by
is.
far.
Yeah, like like Caps is really good for Western League of Legends standards, right? But when it comes to a player like Rookie, he's like, it's just worse. Sometimes you could just be genuinely worse than a person, and you're not doing anything wrong. You're just a worse player than him. That's how these kind of things work. You know?
That's why there's only one Chovy. Welcome to the Church of LS.
My god, the Church of LS.
To answer anime, I think we remember Lost was on Echo Fox, so he's been on not the best org at all. So he's had experience. So I knew and like even they said that he was kind of up and coming and like it's one of those things where like I mentioned the Draymond Green, if you watch basketball, sometimes players are not in the right organizations, and sometimes they need the organization to be good. And the reason I think Huni was the bigger outlier is because like they felt like he did a grand theft on Dig, because Dig was paying him 2 million or something like that. So that was a grand theft heist right there. And they felt like he hasn't done anything since helping Clutch get to Worlds. But I mean, did Clutch even win a game at Worlds?
No, but they did look interesting against the good teams. That's what people give them, like, okay, they look competitive in some of the games.
Yeah, so like, Huni's 20? I'm looking right now. I think Huni's 23 as well.
I'm sorry. All I like to point out on that age conversation is that Hiko over in Valorant on 100 Thieves just turned like 31 and he's still clapping kids.
Oh
like,
my god. I'm actually a brain dead moron. I put a post on Reddit and someone actually commented, and yet I put no link to the actual video.
Yeah, Huni's 23. Like what is it? I think Core JJ is hitting 26 or like maybe Huni, like let's say Huni was like got to say, I don't know, C9 or instead of Team Liquid. We don't know if he could have. Remember, he went to Dig for money. He went to Echo Fox for money. Like, these orgs aren't really, like, let's be honest. Like, if someone told me I'm going to go into LCS, I want to either go 100 Thieves, TSM, TL, C9, and then maybe EG, because EG seems to kind of know what they're doing. Do I want? Hell no, I don't want to go to no other org. That's stupid. In my eyes, I don't feel like my career is gonna go. Oh, FlyQuest, but FlyQuest kind of shit the bed because they kind of went off of like world type off of Jose Diodo, honestly. So
also, funding. But this is the thing. This is what I said, and this narrative keeps happening because it always does. This is just true. People take players from C9 Academy or the C9 roster, and they make them look like crap. It's happened like so many different times. Happened with high contracts. Fucking the FlyQuest original roster. There you also have Svenskeren and those guys from last year, Svenskeren, Kumo, and what was his name? Zazel. You had it this year with Pal Fox, Diamond, and Licorice.
Contracts was silly. Like I think it was more like I'm 18 and dumb. Because like to me, yeah, you did good at Worlds. What made you think that leaving C9 and going to Golden Guardians was gonna be a good move? That's just dumb. There's no
Bro, you left to play with Matt and play with Lorlo and Matt.
Again, like some of these, like this is why you need like the sports psychologists, the people around you, because then they can like sit down. Like these people, like you remember at the end of the day, like these people just get out of high school. They're still, don't have a mature sort of thinking about like the longevity and all that other stuff. Like I'm pretty sure Contract just saw green. He didn't see, well, I could learn from, Reaper as the years go. I can learn, this is a good org for Cloud9. He was like, GG's going to give me green. So
he's definitely feeling those effects now. Also, the last team to talk about is Team Liquid. They locked third. Now, was this a disappointment based off the pre-expectations for Team Liquid? No? Okay.
No.
I'm pretty happy that they were able to win, lock in, deal with the burnout, get themselves back together, especially getting Santorin in town, and then be able to end the split basically in spring strong and get into playoffs. Like,
because most people had them at second place. So
I had them at first.
Still top three.
Yeah, but like we're also like that's it. That's regular season. So it's if you're gonna, it all depends on what you're prioritizing. Like it's like, Rogue gets number 1 in summer split last year in EU, but everyone's like, that's cute. Like you're still gonna go to Worlds and like beg for W's, like everyone's just looking at G2 and Fnatic to run miracles while Rogue's just like, I'm so happy to be here. So I think if you want to have a realistic approach to TL's placements is just get into playoffs. Like try to get high seeding, but just get into playoffs. Jat cannot put so much pressure on these guys to be 100% if they're going to look at Worlds and be like, we need to be alive, well, and at our best for Worlds. Like, they won lock-in. That's a great, warm, heavy start to the year. Spring split, let's get it together.
My only issue with Team Liquid this split, I just have a few of them because I truly never thought they were that bad. Because you could see, they're still pretty solid. They just were mis-executing in, dives and team fights. It was Jensen that was really playing pretty poorly. I know because I'm a part of the Team Liquid Reddit. They're like, oh, well, Jensen has all these stats. People, stop looking at stats. Look at the actual games. Because a stat will not show you that this player was not playing well in a way that you're not going to know, because the numbers are going to obviously show you a part of the game where it's just not going to be something you're going to truly capitalize on. So, this is an example I could give. So back in the day, there was, I forgot this player who was really, really good at being a stats guzzler for the NBA, but in terms of looking at it when he actually was playing, he looks pretty average, right? Oh, LeBron. LeBron was a good stats guzzler, people called him, right? He wasn't playing good at a certain point in his career. Now he's playing good, now more years later on that came along, but it's one of those things where stats, people like to cite stats when they don't know what the hell they're talking about. That's exactly what people do. I get you can bring in stats to further your point. That's good. Saying this player dies too much and they have low CS differentials. That's fine. We can clearly see that. But to say this player is playing good because they have good stats that's a completely disingenuous argument. Fudge has good stats. Is Fudge the best top laner? No, not even close. It's just one of those
not by
things.
most people's eye tests.
Oh no, this man was over here straight up running it down against Finn in the Aurelia matchup.
I mean,
oh my god.
For my assessment of Team Liquid, I'll definitely give them an A, because think about it. Last spring split, they didn't even make playoffs. They could have made playoffs, but they kind of crapped the bed. They had visa issues too, as they did this one, and they were almost 5th, 6th, and they turned it around midseason. You want to see a top team, do that. Cloud9 went, I think, 1-4 in the last 1-3, I believe, in the last 2 weeks. I think Team Liquid's fine. If you asked me right now, who would you want to go to MSI Worlds? Team Liquid's an easy pick for me. I feel confident sending that team to Worlds or MSI. Like, I like what Jat's doing. I don't know what Jensen. I don't know what Jensen. Maybe Jensen was trying something new,
sniffing that Danish crack, man.
I don't know. Like, this is not the Jensen I saw that would have played like a Kali and or like the Zillion, even to like try to outshine Bjergsen. Like, he felt like he was like a better version of Ica.
I think so let's think about this. Jensen for a long time has played with weak side top laners, primarily Impact, actually. And this is the first iteration, I believe, where Jensen is actually not required to be the primary carry. And so what I think needs to be reminded is that Jensen, there's too many carries on this team right now, actually. Like, someone has to not shine. Like, the best thing going forward is like Santorin goes on tanks because the meta changes away from these hyper farming junglers, these carry junglers. But you have Alfari, who they usually pick for their carry solo laner, at least.
Yeah, GP.
Jensen gets a neutralizing mid laner, and bot lane gets to make magic because Core JJ is a god. So and Tactical, when he's not looking dumb and fatigued, Tactical has been one of the best surprise picks to be like, hey, NA talent is here. Like, a lot of the rookies right now are just showing themselves to be that. So I'm very much with you on the part where Jensen is not acting like what we expect, but I don't think Jensen knows, like, he knows his role consciously, but does he have subconscious patterns in play to be a weak side solo laner?
And that's my thing too, is like, looking at the point you just brought up, I was thinking to myself, my friend, he was bringing up this point too. When you bring Alfari into your team, something has to give, because Santorin, let's be honest here, Santorin doesn't gank much at all. So when he does, he's going to really prioritize who he thinks is going to be the strongest person. Now, I initially thought you bring in Santorin to fix your mid-jungle synergy. That's why you would bring Santorin in. I don't know why else would you, because he's not going to make Santorin's not going to be a big X factor for them. I think at Worlds, potentially. I think he's going to be one of their weakest players. But Because I don't think he'll bring them to the next level, though. He's not a player that, how would I say this? Like, a player like Dardoch, you can clearly see if you brought Dardoch back to Team Liquid, he would bring him to another level, right? But hey, Breaking Point 2.0.
I think Steve would have an aneurysm.
Or like Svenskeren. Would you rather have Svenskeren on Team Liquid, or would you rather have Santorin? That's how I like to see it. Would you rather have Blabber on Team Liquid, or would you rather have Santorin? It's one of those things.
I'd rather have Svenskeren. First of all, his name is cool. That's why.
High level analysis right here, kids.
No, I would have okay, so like, I just pulled up the worlds where Santorin was in. Let's think about like that group that he went up against Pioshik, Karsa. I'm not gonna count Hansa because they went 0-6, but of course, they're not TSM, so no one's gonna say shit to them. But
it's fine. It's okay. Double standard bullshit, right?
Double standard BS. Like, Glush goes 0-6, but TSM. but whatever.
Yo, no. You don't get to roll away with that one. Clutch, everyone, including Clutch, had low expectations for what they were going to do. TSM gets to talk mad shit in the summer split as number one with the championship, and then go dog shit at the Worlds.
But let's be honest, like we could go down this rabbit hole, but like, come on, they had
already the hole.
They had to go look at okay. So you want to know my take? I think they got burned out from playing all of those games. And when it came to Worlds, and then they have to do more practice upon practice to go up against those teams, I think they would just like, I'm pooped. I'm senior
Sounds
citizen.
like they shouldn't have gone.
I don't disagree. But my point, I'm gonna go back to Santorin. I think like he performed well for his that was his second time at Worlds.
Second time ever at Worlds, yeah.
I think he considering that, I think the group he went in was like, Pioshik is a good jungler. We can agree on that, right?
Yeah, Carson, he became good. He was actually pretty terrible.
He started the Udyr meta.
Yeah, he was so bad when he first started. Remember, he was awful with Doran. That guy stunk, and I was like, he progressed so well. I was so proud of him. I was like, this guy's becoming an insanely good carry jungler.
And then we got Karsa from Flash Wolves.
That should already speak for itself,
right? That just speaks for itself, right? So like, considering, and then they went 3-3. I think Santorin is fine. I just think it's one of those things like, I feel like he's just a step above Xmithy, which is not saying much, but it means a lot going into an international play. That's why I'm confident, because like, I look at that. I think last year was the hardest Worlds to go through as a team. Like, every group, they should not have like I felt like last year's Worlds on a competitive standpoint. I mean, like, I saw Machi and look how they kind of could have won a game or more games. Rogue got destroyed in their group. Like, I felt like last year was a World that was like, wake up call. So like, but in regards to Santorin, I think it's fine. Again, I don't know if Jensen's trying to be. I think Jensen could fill the role of a better Niski if he wants to if he has to take a backseat. I think he could be a way better Niski. We can all agree on that.
Yeah. I just think that Team Liquid need a carry jungler. I think they want a carry jungler. They keep getting these like role playing junglers.
Well, I mean, Santorin's no self-made, so that ain't gonna happen, bro.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you gotta also think about team balance. Like, if you get like, let's say they brought back Darduck, that's too many fish that's too many chiefs at the table, man.
Hey, bro, the fish is full of the ocean is full of fish, and they all get a chance to eat. Let's be honest here.
No, they don't. Some of them died. Some of them
I know.
Damn it. What are you talking about?
Damn it.
No, you don't get to throw
it up. Come on, man.
You don't get to throw out cliches without me bringing up some tartar sauce to eat that up. Now, no, the play out is that I get where you want to have like carry junglers, but that's following a carry jungle meta, and that's falling away right now. Graves is dead. Graves is not running in anymore. The best thing we have right now in the pro meta, as we're seeing it, is Lilia, Udyr, Mundo starting to show up more. But we're probably going to be heading towards more tank junglers like Sejuani and stuff. Yankos' career. So, like, there's a certain point you can't have 5 carries. Like, we've been past that. So, like, if you tried,
I'm just kidding. No, look at KT Rolster. Look at KT Rolster in 2018.
It's called Misfits 2018.
Oh God.
I mean, KT Rolster's problem is what someone brought up. You had Smeb in the top lane and Deft on the other side of the map. That's hard to balance out, dude. And then you have like a UCal. That was the problem. But then we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, yeah. Talking about that, I'm going to blow my goddamn brains out.
FPX getting, was it Khan after they won their world championship? They get rid of their...
Completely not the player they needed.
No, because they technically upgraded on paper value, their top laner, but it takes away the entire play style that Doinby had created that won them the world championship. I'm sorry, but like...
They actually recreated that play style with Bao, and then Bao got in trouble for match fixing. That's crazy. Well, they just thrive in that.
No, they just got caught match fixing. There's a difference in China.
Oh.
So I'm pretty okay with Santorin on account of like the Svenskeren and Santorin comparison. I don't got a lot to say about it. I enjoy Svenskeren on a Madhouse team with Jizuke. If he was on TL, I think it'd be similar to worse or better. Like it's 6 dozen half eggs. I don't even know how to say it right, but it's apples and oranges. It's all fruit.
Well, eggs and no, eggs goes with nothing.
Well, I know people say that Graves is out, but like the thing about Graves is that he's still a range AD that can still clear. Graves can still clear fast. The only thing I would still like, I just don't understand sometimes the proteins. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm a silver pleb, but and I get that Udyr
We're all
clears
silver
fast.
analysts, Warren. We're all silver analysts.
I get it that Udyr clears fast, but if you told me who would you rather have on your team at the end of the day, I would never draft Udyr. I would always take Graves over
Nah.
just for jungle match. Are you serious, Graves?
No.
I'm not. I'm not taking Udyr. That is asinine.
Tank, engage, faster clear, both scuttle crabs. I bet actually.
And I guarantee you'll see Graves with that change to Black Cleaver as well.
Well, Black Cleaver's been like non-existent. Yeah. Here's what I would love. Here's what I would love. Here's if you want to figure out someone to do this with, I might be able to do it with you. We go into a training tool. You take Graves with the best runes out there, and I take Udyr with the best runes out there. We both try not to be dog shit on our clears, and then we meet at level 6 in River.
Well, I'm not talking about clears though. I'm just looking at the overall state of the game.
Clears mean everything. What are you talking about?
That's not true. Hecarim clears slower than Udyr, but still is stronger and a better pick. What are you talking about?
Wait, what do you mean? I like my man bear pick champion.
But nobody brings that up. Hecarim needs to full clear and stay away until he can get 6 and even Triforce or Divine Thunder. But nobody says anything. But Graves is an atrocity to have. That don't make any sense.
Well, Graves an atrocity because he has no given CC coming into it. The best patterns that I at least heard for Graves in a pro level situation, he comes into mid lane, clears the wave faster with the mid laner, and then they go off and make a roam play. Like that's the nature of his quote unquote gank pattern, or there has to be set up CC for him to capitalize on. So like, I mean, that's sort of the nature of at least Graves on a professional level for it.
Right. All right, we're gonna have this LS thing with Mark. Where what's better, Udyr or Graves? That'd be a 5-hour debate I can't sit here for. But the last thing to talk about is
I got a caster that would help. Tristan Cass over in Twitch. He was casting the in-houses. I'd just call him like, hey,
all right.
me and Warren are about to 1v1
Udyr versus Graves. Hey, I like man bear pick champions like Udyr. Dude, yeah. I need to go actually learn Udyr. I actually genuinely want to learn him. They said he's easy, but everybody, there's no way he's easy. I have a conceptual fact he can't be that easy. But
start Tiger, go 3 points into Phoenix to rapid fire, you're clear, and then you can go into your bear and turtle last, but you never put an extra point into Tiger.
I just want to run at people and smack them.
Dude, that's all I want to do. It's so busted. And the frequency of that, dude, free elo. Just saying. Like I'm bronze 1, but
next year.
I also never play the game because ranked is more toxic than Britney Spears.
Or Pokemon's Twitch chat. Pokemon's Twitch chat is toxic, and I'm there every day. I'm just kidding, guys. All right, so the last team to talk about is Fnatic dropped to 5th place for the LEC 2021 spring split. So we don't have to go on a long tangent about the LEC. I know I have LEC viewers. Okay, there's 2 different ways you can look at it. They had COVID. They played bad.
What are those standings? I need to look at these standings because I want SK to just clap Fnatic out of playoffs.
So it's the one thing where you could talk about and go, okay, they had a big COVID situation. They played badly, right? But then you just basically excuse all of their bad gameplay. It is what it is. It's one of those things. It's just like I can look at it from both angles.
They don't get the COVID. Me and Warren are going to hold hands on this one.
Oh my god,
they don't get the pass.
They don't know. Sorry, we've been at this a year, and if you have rookies, they get a boost theoretically because they have no stage presence to do it, and the veterans get maybe -2 out of 100 because they don't get to have the in-person vibe to play with.
He'll be back.
Yeah, there we go.
He's back.
Yeah, I don't know what does that.
He's a magician. So Team Vitality finishes 5-13 at 10th place.
Garbage.
Astralis at 9th place is 6-12. Excel at 8th place, missing playoffs yet again. They are cursed at 7-11. Misfits Gaming 7th place at 8-10. This is a fraud. This is an Among Us fraud team. This team is garbage.
They took too long to get good. Misfits
right?
took too long to get good, and they deserve this.
SK Gaming sitting right here at 6th place at 8-10. Fnatic sitting right here at 5th place at 9-9. Schalke No Fear at 4th place at 9-9. Mad Lions at 3rd place at 10-8. Rogue at 2nd place at 14-2. And G2 Esports, as always, my boys, sitting there at 14-4.
Can't wait for them to get dog. Then I want to see if you're a real G2 fan.
There you go, right there. There you go. That's I got the other flag coming in very soon. Actually, when they send it over. Okay, so outside of G2, when they were completely sandbagging this week in those games against Excel, and who else did they lose to?
They lost to Mad
the Scion game.
The Mad Lions game was super fun again. It was
they beat them pretty convincingly, actually.
So okay, so
no. You're talking the Rumble game, right? The G2. It was G2 Mad Lions and Caps went Rumble.
No,
right?
Okay. I actually he didn't go Rumble because
G2. Who did they go against?
I think he went Syndra actually.
G2 faced Excel, Mad, and SK in the Mad Lions game. Who did they pick? Let me go see right now.
Because Humanoid.
Yeah. Oh, it was Yankos on the Rex side. His Pathinger line was Dog and Mickey on the Vigar, and yeah, they kind of got bodied. Yeah.
So what do you guys think about Fnatic though? So you guys are not going to look at the whole COVID situation. So if you're judging them purely based off gameplay, so that's what you guys want to go off of. How bad was it?
I think it had to do with coach. I think Yamato thinks it's Vitality 2.0 or something. I really do think that the way they played so aggressive, and the fact that one week they're playing to top side, another week they're playing to jungle, another week they're playing to bot side. You got to make up your mind, right? Yeah. And then there was some games where they just threw they should have had a better record. They should have definitely been top 5.
I think they should have been second place because I had them at second place over Rogue.
No, I didn't have them second.
No. Now with Niski as their mid laner and self-made doesn't like Niski.
Niski performed fine. He wasn't the problem.
That's crazy.
No. We're talking. I'm going to talk about the part where there are relationships inside this team that they don't even want to work together, because Selfmade made his own comment that Niski was not his first pick or probably even his top 5 pick for a mid laner to get. Bwipo has already made his own comment, I think, on an interview on the Crackdown, that he did not believe that Selfmade was a good jungler for what Fnatic and what he thought Fnatic as a team should be.
I remember
playing.
that, yeah.
Yeah. So you have, at least from the mid lane up to the top lane, dissynergistic on what they want. Upset and Hylissang are actually quite solid. Hilly is still Hilly.
Upset filled in Reckless's shoes. Let's be honest.
Upset has been good, and the only question that's been brought about that is worth valuing is if Upset could be the emotional anchor that Reckless has been said to be in the high stakes situations. So what you have is, I think you could throw it at Yamato as the mediator of ideas and where the team should be going. The problem is that I don't think anyone made a solid decision, and no one is respected as the ultimate decider of what to do. Because we could all agree probably that Perks is probably the biggest and most finalizing voice on Cloud9. You can't pick who that is on Fnatic because it's going to be Selfmade bumping heads with Bwipo more than likely. And Yamato, is a very facilitating type of personality and coach. He knows the game, he knows his stuff, but I think where they're going back and forth on what side of the map they're focusing on and not finalizing a specific style for at least this first half of the season is indicative of a desynergistic set of 6 people. It is 6 people disagreeing on how to play the game, and they have had to edge out their wins to even make it into playoffs.
It's even also in the G2 game that they got completely stomped in. Bwipo flashes downward instead of actually flashing upwards where he could save himself where his teammates are coming. Even just little things like that. They don't have a defined play style at all. It's pretty much just Hylissang being aggressive.
That's a map awareness situation, maybe even not even trusting the positioning of his teammates at the time on a subconscious level. Because if you're going to flash in the wrong direction, that's just a mechanical micro issue. But if you're having a meta thought issue about what your team is telling you that they're doing and what you should be doing to actually enable the play further to make your death worth something, so they can for it. There we go. And that you just, I'm sorry, you just have you have trust not built into how you're just playing on that. I may be over analyzing this as some, amateur idiot psychoanalyst here, but I have a problem when there's a micro misplay like that, when your team's coming to help you and you don't recognize what you should be doing to bait in, a trade at least.
Even just this last week against Rogue, that was, man, they got so outdrafted by Rogue. That was insane.
What was that draft?
It was when Otawamne was on Nar, right?
Odo's God. Odo's God this year.
He played so well this week.
Please, let's not go. Oh my God, Finn was so scapegoated. Like, I feel like he has stop it, please stop.
Dude, I'm sorry, you can't tell me that Finn was a better weak side top laner than Odo is now.
I would hope so after being in the league for 6 years. I really
would hope so as well. We hope so as well. The thing is that Arome and Finn were the weakest top laners out of LEC, and both of those teams now look way better now that they've actually upgraded, or at least minorly upgraded.
That's not true, because look at remember Mad Lions finished in the summer really good with Arome. What was it, second or
second place?
Yeah. So Armin has had his moments. I'm not saying that, and I think it's an upgrade by far. I think he's mechanically way better. I've seen Armin in tracking the pros when I watch it, but I think honestly the problem with Mad Lions wasn't Arome. I think it was Shadow. Remember, the jungle is always the most important role.
Yes. I love this line actually, which I think explains everything about Mad Lions' issue last year. Was that Dominate found talking to EU players, he would ask them, who's the best jungler in EU, and everyone would reply with Shadow's Lee Sin. It's like so Shadow was a one-trick pony, and so I'm definitely with you. I would say actually that is I love Elioya. I love the narrative that LEC has built around him. I love the plays that he's done. I think that Kane game he was gifted.
Oh my God, that was beautiful to watch. Holy shit!
No, that was dog. That was dog trash.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
It's the first Kane game that he did that the bot lane did not track or was not even paying attention to where he was. And the only way he was going to
watch him run it. It was beautiful to watch that guy run it down.
Yeah, he ran it down, and then Elioya is just like, cool, this game is now mine. So I will definitely agree with you that the greatest significant upgrade for Mad Lions was definitely upgrading their jungler. I really think our mood is between a side grade and upgrade to Arome. I would say a minor upgrade. But yeah, Finn looks good in LCS or at least he looks good in LCS because he's more unleashed now.
I just hate when teams scapegoat a player when they perform. Let's be honest, at the World's appearance, and I don't want to go Humanoid performed the best out of the Mad Lions group, hands down. Yeah. Right, but I just don't like that narrative when they we got to get rid of this one player instead of sitting down and talking about it. But
you know, all year to talk about it. You had all year to talk about it,
right? But my thing about the Fnatic was that I think they got caught up into a couple things. Remember, you got to remember that what's the owner of G2?
Carlos.
He kind of did a scumbag but smart move by not allowing Perks to go to Fnatic.
Yeah.
That's really big, because I think Fnatic would have shelled out the money for Perks. And I know
because they said
you
think they would have paid $11 million for Perks?
Heck, think about it. You're getting think about, because then we know who would have been you really think Bwipo's not going to listen to Perks? Let's be honest.
Bwipo doesn't even listen to probably Reckless when he was on the team.
Bwipo doesn't listen to himself.
Remember, he played around Caps, who got most of the attention, right?
Yeah.
Now Perks is going to get the attention, but Perks is just more. When Perks was mid lane, he was more calculating, and you'd think it was a risky play, but it was actually good. I think he would have been a voice. I think you would have had a clear identity. Also, that kind of messed him up. Me personally, Niski, I could personally, I think he would have been better on like say SK. Like I could see Niski on SK because Blue has been underperforming for me in SK. He's supposed to be an up and coming rookie, but to be fair, I'm gonna be fair and look at play devil's advocate. Abadaga got a lot of BS for the first 2 years, and they were soon about to replace it until they had that miracle run, and Schalke turned hot just like Team Liquid did, which is why I feel confident that Schalke could pull off a crazy run to the finals or something like that. Because they won when it mattered this weekend in that regard.
But they did have like a 6-game losing streak too. That was the one thing where it's like
SK was worse. Like SK lost all of their games.
Dude, right. It was one of these things where, like, I think Treats has been a really nice stand-up performer in the LEC. Like, if you have him in your MVP conversation, I mean, I can't blame you. He's been really good. Now, I think Tinks has been playing really good, too. But the issue with SK is I don't really see much that they can do better teams than them. I think they're a solid team, but when you look at them, it's just like what we talked about earlier. You can be really good, but someone could just be that much better than you.
I know the issue, honestly. And
you think it's Gen X? They only put them on Aatrox.
I think they're afraid. Like they know. Like let's say Gen X's Renekton has actually improved his Scion. He has his orange.
Gangplank's pretty good now.
Yeah, as his. But like we need to see him play things like Camille, Aurelia, Jace. Even counterpick Jax. Like these are the picks that like shows whether you can. Like we're banking the game on you. And SK plays it safe. So,
the last team to talk about, or the last two teams to knock him out pretty quickly, are Rogue and G2. I mean, Rogue definitely have looked pretty solid. I think Trimby just sucks. Like, I think he's bad. You don't think he's bad? I don't think he's that good, man.
He's not bad. It's just this Odoame nonsense is like, bro, you just got beat by. Didn't they lose to XL? Like, come on, you just lost to Cry. Stop it.
Christ.
Like you just lost this Christ, and then you're telling me like, I mean, not UEO, but like you get my point. Like you just lost to XL. Like,
hey, G2 lost to XL too, man. XL could be a sleeper, this amazing team we don't even know about right now.
I think XL. I think you need to get rid of Torre and get a better support.
Bro, Torre's actually just running it down.
Like he's like a ghetto. He's like the bootleg Hellsang on a. That's my personal opinion. But Rogue
not brought to you by Team 4-Star.
Okay, so I'm gonna be fast. Rogue is a better Origin this year. Like remember when Origin came into the league?
Yeah, they're also way faster too. Their gameplay is just faster.
Yeah,
they even won a 4v5 and got the Baron, right, or the Dragon, wherever you guys don't know the play I'm talking about. Yeah.
They're better Origin. G2 have kind of I think they've upgraded because Perks only really had a very limited ADC pool. He had Kaisa, Zaya, and Ash.
Got blessed. Yeah, he got blessed on account of. I didn't like the Ash pick during that time, but he got blessed on account of there was 2 primary ADCs to carry it back in 2019. He was getting a lot of success. He said on a recent interview with Ash and really learning Ash on a much higher level, but it just did not play out. Like I never liked him picking the Ash. I don't care how he feels about it. Wrong.
So I feel G2 come because we know they're gonna make international now. About MSI, that could the upsets can happen, right? So, but I'm confident in the 80 carry department with Mickey X, and I feel that I wouldn't be surprised, and I thoroughly hate G2. Like I hate them.
Yeah, gosh.
Okay. I hate
the amount of passion that was in that sentence.
Someone's fallen to the villain narrative.
Warren, come to the dark side. You're a TSM fan. TSM are always known as the villains.
I can see G2 making semifinals. I don't see them winning worlds, but I can see them making semifinals.
Oh yeah. I'm a realistic G2 fan as well. And when Reckless says he's gonna win worlds, come on, dude. Hey, delusions they happen, man. They exist.
Delusions of madmen is usually what
but is EU, but the thing is I think EU will finally get a new team. I think Rogue can definitely get out of quarters depending on the group. I think EU will finally have 3 teams because EU's been always only having 2 teams really to lean on. So I think Rogue is finally that 3rd team that you can feel confident going. And
Because my thing with Rogue is when people talk about Inspired and Larson for MVP, it's just one of those Niski Blabber situations again. It's like, but I think both players look great. I think because like when people make those comparisons, it's like there's nothing really bad about it. It's just more like, what do you personally value in a player? That's just it. A player that builds up a guy or a guy that, does the hard work and ends up finishing the game. It's just one of those things. It's just what you personally value. I don't think you should consider like Hansama for MVP or Trimby or, Oduwamne's in the conversation to a certain extent too. But, I think Rogue has been a fantastic team to split. They lost to they only lost 2 games to G2 and they lost to Schalke, I think, and Mad Lions, right?
Yeah.
So
no XL. Yeah. Remember they lost
to XL. You're right.
Your boy Oduwamne in the top lane losing the. I'm sorry.
Well, Cries is some trash. Cries is some trash. Oh God. But that's pretty much it for just the European part. I know people say we don't talk about Europe a lot. I mean, it's literally just been G2, Fnatic, and Rogue. What do you guys want me to say?
I mean,
it's been Mad Lions and Schalke over Fnatic if you're looking at standings, homie.
Oh yeah.
You can call Fnatic a good drama side if we actually had more insight on how that team is trying to figure its life out. But
so we have the playoffs for both LEC and LCS. Who do you have winning the whole thing now that since we're at the end? Like for LCS, who do you have winning? And for LEC, who do you guys have winning?
Oof, man.
C9 for LCS, G2 for LEC. I'm more interested on who you think is going to be in the finals. So go ahead and throw your
actually, finals is better. Who do you see in? Actually, that's a better
Rogue.
take.
Yeah. Rogue, baby. Rogue, Nick. Go Rogue. Rogue is going to be in the finals. I would love a G2 Fnatic finals. The narrative of, Fnatic making it to face Reckless, their old teammate, but I don't know, man. If they lose to SK Gaming, if that's not one of the most biggest upsets ever in EU, I don't know what it is anymore. Because, Fnatic always traditionally make finals with G2 though.
So I actually have a lead-in of a line of things that I want to happen. I want Rogue to be who knocks Fnatic out of the playoffs to claim the number 2 spot officially for EU, and it's Rogue G2 fighting for
the torch, right?
Huh?
That would be passing the torch, though, right?
Oh, I would say it's going to what Nightwing was just talking about, where we actually have a top 3 set of teams that we would be happy for at least their brand to go international. I don't think Fnatic is at the state could do what they have done in the past few years with their current roster. I think this is a much weaker roster. It's a much more middle table roster, both on what we've seen so far and what we know of these players. Rogue now is taking the number 2, and you could call it passing the torch. I think Rogue's just coming and stealing the torch just to keep on brand there, homie.
Their Twitter page is getting more spicier every single time.
Rogue and G2 are the 2 best Twitter social media brands out of EU at this time. Probably also in the West, because it's like the best branding you have over in the LCS is FlyQuest and Reginald making TSM look ridiculous.
Well, okay, so I love to do the wild takes, right? That's me. I don't gulp your throat, okay? So
wild card, draw 4. Let's go.
There you go. All right. Casually exits conversation.
I think Schalke has a good chance of beating G2. I really think so. And the Mad Rogue, I just see Rogue winning. So I would like to see Schalke because I feel like people are sleeping on them. And Gilius is pretty, when things are going right, Schalke is really scary. Really, really scary, I think. Out of all those teams. SK, I don't see SK... As much as I like the feel good story about it, I just don't even see. I don't see them. But a final for me would. This is gonna sound spicy. I think it's gonna be Schalke and Rogue. That's who I have in the finals for LEC though.
Okay.
I'm Michael Jordan. Stop it. Get some help.
That was actually cut beautifully, and I appreciate you so much.
Alrighty. From that though,
if SK Gaming here, my hot take is SK Gaming knockout Fnatic, but now will I predict that?
I'm about that.
That was more realistic because they're close in the standings though. But it's Fnatic did 2-0 SK in the split though. It was pretty convincing. So it's one of those things where maybe a best of 5, you know, is going to
That
be a
is
whole
true.
lot more better for them.
Again, that's what I brought up earlier in the beginning of the fan cast.
Mhm.
But playoff Fnatic is different from. Remember, Fnatic last summer didn't almost like XL almost got to Worlds last year. People forget that they had to win. They had to beat them, or they wouldn't have made it to Worlds or to
Over the tiebreaker scenarios that they
yeah,
had.
like like we would have saw XL at Worlds or some possibility. Like
Oh, God.
So,
Torre
like,
at Worlds again. Hell no. I'll actually rather just slit my throat.
maybe Fnatic. Maybe we might see playoff Fnatic too.
Oh, man.
They got to get it together real fast.
And I'm glad they have the
So-
extra week to prepare because, you know, their playoffs start next week. It's not going to be this week with the LCS. LCS immediately now goes into playoffs. We don't get that 1 week break anymore in the LCS. Now
Yeah.
you're directly going right into it. LEC, it's the week break and you're going in. Also, it helps. So, you know, I genuinely hope the players feel better. The people that got sick and Hill is saying they said got sick. I hope they genuinely feel better. I honestly do. But if you're judging them purely off gameplay, it's very possible they lose to SK. And if they lose to SK, they are out. They're in the losers bracket, people. They're done. If SK beat them, that's one of the biggest upsets I've seen in LEC in a while. That's big because Fnatic won't be making finals and they won't be facing off against G2.
I'm just picturing myself in some Singing in the Rain Broadway, just dancing in under a shower of Fnatic tears.
And then
Yeah,
go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, it's nothing important. Trust me.
Oh, okay, because I actually wanted to test this real quick. If I can actually, nope, not even gonna try it. It's got too many prompts. So like, because the lower bracket is Fnatic and SK, upper bracket is G2 versus Schalke, Mad Lions versus Rogue. So what you have there is Schalke could knock G2 down to lower bracket. We're running that, you know, spoiler that Schalke can do against G2. Mad Lions Rogue, I love this because this reminds me of, at least with the mediocre rap battles, where it's just like, yeah, Mad Lions and Rogue are both competing to be the number 3, and
or new
Rogue,
number 2, right?
number 3, yeah. Like because I'm going like last year, you know, like just with like the overarching narrative of Europe, because it's been Fnatic and G2 for what feels like forever. Fnatic are looking weak, and it's what the narrative we would have set up for this year is that Mad Lions and Rogue last year and now are looking to take that number 2 spot, and Rogue are the high favorites for it. So Mad Lions kind of get to come in and really like look at Rogue across the aisles. Like, here comes the best 5. Here's the real test of your League of Legends, because best of ones can just. I wish I had. Where's my new trash can? Like, it needs to go. Here comes the real game. You have 5 games to get this together to prove like what you are as a team. So like, it's all looking fine because you have G2 Schalke, Mad Lions Rogue to start it, and then SK Fnatic. Like, I just. Because SK are looking to like go up. They're like the Mad Lions run. They're like the Mad Lions of like this spring of just being a rookie team that's like getting it together and looking good. It's not as miraculous as Mad Lions by any stretch, but they're a very feel good team right now.
And with that being said, that's pretty much it, guys. I gotta head out of here. So anything else you guys want to say before we close out?
Yeah. TSM's going to MSI.
All right. So I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. Nightwing is signing out. Peace. And Lena's pretty hot. Good job, Double Lift. You got a good looking girlfriend. That's exactly how you end the show.